Hi there, I'm Jeshua. We at Deep Dive Publishers provide tips, tools, and training to help aspiring authors reach success with self-publishing. In today's video, we're going to answer the question, do you need Publisher Rocket to achieve bestseller status? Now, you might be wondering, what is Publisher Rocket? It's a piece of software developed by the people over at Kindlepreneur, and it's one of the many things that they provide to help self-publishing authors do the best they can possibly do. The next obvious question is, do you actually need it? Well, there's a lot of stuff that you can do directly on Amazon itself that Kindlepreneur also does. So let's go take a look and compare and contrast. But before I show you the comparing and contrasting, we need to know what book we're going to be doing all of this with. We're going to be using a fake example. This book does not really exist, but it's what we're going to be using for today. There is a young man, 18, something out of that, going into college, not quite Ivy League, but it's a nice college. He goes off and he's doing his own thing. One of his high school friends has also joined this same college, and he actually ended up in a frat. This particular frat, a couple years ago, one of the initiates died during one of their hazing ceremonies, so our protagonist is kind of concerned for his friend. As the semester goes on, this concern begins to build up and build up. The guy is the friend is missing classes, things are not going well, it's turning into a very dark and twisted situation, and as the story would progress, we would all find out, hopefully in some kind of cacophonous way, oh, this isn't just a frat, this is an eldritch cult worshipping some Cthulhu-esque ancient god older than time. So we've got some interesting stuff going on here. Now let's go in and see what categories would fit that story. Now this is the Amazon book page. You've all probably seen this. If not, this is what it looks like, at least right now. Let's go down and see where we would want to find how to look at what our book is doing. We would go down to Department and find Books. There are all kinds of options down here. Now, what would probably fit most, I would think, would be in Sci-Fi and Fantasy. Let's go ahead and take a look at these categories and the subcategories therein. Alright, so on Amazon, all you can really see from the top is just the main sections, so probably more fantasy than anything. So let's go to fantasy. Now we have a bigger drop down. We can have several different subgenres. Now, these days you can only have 3 categories with Amazon, so unless something else really hits the mark, we'll probably just go with 3 subcategories here. Again, if this was a real book, I would probably spend more time really trying to find the exact things that really match what it is, but this is just a fake example here. So, let's see. New adult and college, I would say most likely fits. Young guy, going into college, all that kind of thing. And so within the top rated, I was taking a look at this earlier. This book, and it sounds like this series has a lot of similar themes going on. There's some weird magical stuff going on with frats that happened incidentally. The idea for this fictional example came before seeing that. So within this area, it's probably an accurate representation of what this book is. Now, we also have probably dark, because we're dealing with eldritch gods and eldritch beings. Wrong button there, but hey. Oh yeah, we're seeing Berserk here, which is a very famous, very twisted manga. Dark Souls has taken a lot of inspiration from Berserk. We see Stephen King in here. Oh yeah, this definitely fits the vibe for what I'm hoping to go for here. And then, let's see, I lost that, okay. And then, age, could be coming of age, maybe, but that's not really the focus. Not really an action adventure. Dark, historical. Realism, maybe. Myths and legends could be it. Because there's going to be cults and worshipping, and maybe it would even be a twist on that, because again, We're just coming up with what this story is so we could make it fit better into this category. So perhaps this. So, all right, more or less, we found our 3 categories. Now let's go over and see what you can do on Publisher Rocket to do the same thing. All right, this is Publisher Rocket. It's fairly simple. The UI, user interface, is very straightforward. Everything that you can do with Publisher Rocket, at least from the onset, is right here with these, and then up here, it's the same buttons to get to the same thing. It's not very complicated. We're going to go over to Categories and search for... Notice that it just gives us all of what we're looking for. Real easy and nice setup right here. And science fiction and fantasy. Let's go and check that out. Okay, boom. Notice immediately, rather than just giving us the top down, here's the main things, and you have to click it to get into subcategories, it shows us everything right here. Okay, so it starts off with Audible books, Audible. If we were going to make this into an audiobook, we would want to take a look at these and consider using these as well. And let's see, books, science fiction, fantasy. Okay, so let's take a look at the new adult and college, which I would say best fits out of the 3 we've picked so far. Maybe also dark, so we could take a look at those 2. Now, same information, same location, that seems pretty cool. We have over here category details. We can view insights, which most of this information you're not going to find on Amazon. Required sales to the #1 spot under New Adult and College, 137. Sales to number 10, 35. This is a really doable subcategory as well, because if you have a lot of sales, if you had to have like 1,000 plus for #1 or even to hit number 10, you probably wouldn't want to use that subcategory, because that's just probably not going to happen unless you're already a successful author with a following of readers that really want to get your stuff. If you're new or new-ish and you only have a couple things out or nothing at all, something like this subcategory, that's totally doable. It's still a bit much. You might want to go for something a bit smaller, but hey, that's not ridiculous. You could definitely do that. Overview, and you get all of these insights. People are still looking for it. It's actually spiking up again. It only dipped slightly, but still it was having 1,000 sales in March, so it's doing well. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Finding them is a little bit more straightforward. Depends on how you want to use, which interface you prefer. But this extra information right here, none of this, I don't know about you, I didn't see that on Amazon. So on Amazon itself, you can easily go through and find these same categories, go through and possibly even read a few of the books that are doing well in that category to make sure that you're doing what the readers who like that stuff want. But really, these insights right here are what make Publisher Rocket so valuable, because from the Amazon side of things, you don't know that in June of this year, 1,300 people bought, or at the very least 1,300 sales happened within this category, or that you only have to make 137 sales to hit #1 in this category. So if you want to become a bestseller and hit that #1 status and have that accolade, be your first book or your 10th book, this information is pretty valuable, because though you might have decided to go with this category for this book yourself, there was no way of really knowing that it would help you. Now let's take a look at dark as well, if I can find it. Alright, it actually took me a moment to find what I was looking for. That is one thing that you would have to figure out with Publisher Rocket. There are some differences in how they lay out their categories. So, from that one respect, it was easier to find dark fantasy on Amazon. But, look at this. Sales to number one, nearly 2,000 required. So, because you can only have three categories, although it really matches well and it makes a lot of sales, in April it was almost 18,000 sales that month, it requires a lot. So, overall, after a book launch, you might still throw your book in there because it's doing well and it also very much matches this example we've been using. But for a book launch specifically, you would not want to use this because that, unless you're doing really well already, that is not gonna happen. So that right there, as just shows why Publisher Rocket is so valuable. Invaluable for your category searches. It's also very valuable for keywords, analyzing your competition, and you can even have a better chance of doing well with Amazon ads if you want to go ahead and buy Publisher Rocket. Don't click away just yet, I haven't gotten to the good part. Our complete self-publishing bundle can help you save hundreds of hours on learning how publishing works. First, we walk you through all the steps required from taking your book through initial conception, through the writing process, up into publishing, launching, and actually selling on Amazon. 2, we show you the Amazon KDP dashboard and take you through the entire process of uploading your book to Amazon. One of our clients, before they were working with us, took 2 days to figure out how to do that. 3, we're giving you our deep dive writing guide, a tool that you will use to take your writing to the next level. Normally, we would sell all of this for $497, but if you go down to the link below and purchase Publisher Rocket for just $97, you get all of that as well. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Since you hopefully liked it, you can go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel and lets us know that we should continue making content just like this.